Hi and good morning. It is Tuesday, July 29th, 12 noon. Um, I just want to encourage you if you're struggling with drinking and drugging, there's a way out for you. If there was a way out for me, there is one for you. I was crazy. I can still be crazy sober, and I'll make it as briefly as I can. So at 15, I had a best friend. I don't know. I don't even remember where we bought the alcohol. Was it? I think it was Boone's Farm and Cherry Hill Vodka. Was that it? Or might be reversed. Anyway, so my friend, she took 2 sips. I drank one whole bottle. Very first time I drank, blacked out. And I blacked out from that time on every time I drank. I didn't drink because I liked the taste. I drank for one reason, and that was to get the buzz. So I grew up in this like really a nice home. My mom and dad, nice home meaning, I had great parents. I was adopted at 6 weeks, and they loved me so much. And I would have loved to have reciprocated that at a young age, but I didn't because I was so nuts. 16 years old, 2 days after my 16th birthday, I hitchhiked to Florida, unbeknownst to my parents, to meet some drug dealers that I knew that were living in Clearwater Beach, Florida. So did that, just trying to give you a little example of how absolutely nuts I was. And it didn't matter. I mean, people say, oh, Carly, you're going to die if you don't stop drinking like that. Well, guess what? I'm probably going to die because I wasn't going to stop drinking. And especially at that age, because when I was young, which I am no more, I drank for the fun of it because I liked the buzz, and it was blanks to the wall. So also grew up in a Catholic church with my mom and dad, always believed in God and Jesus Christ, confirmed, etc. I don't go to the Catholic church anymore, but I'm involved in another denomination that Catholics in this denomination, for the most part, really kind of bump heads. But I'll get back with that. So always knew there was a God, and I was scared to death. I always believed there is a heaven, there is a hell, and I am on my way down. And I knew that because I was living this crazy life, hanging out with these guys in their late 20s, and I'm like 16, 17 years old. But that's just the way it was. When I was 19, I I didn't meet, I had already met him when I was 16, and we got married, and I don't remember my wedding. I was in a blackout, and then got married again. Was married, divorced 7 years, got married again. Don't remember that wedding. Here's what's really crazy too. When my mom died, I found a wedding album, and I thought, oh, look at this. Wonder whose this is. I opened up the wedding album, and it was my wedding, the first one at 19 in a blackout. And I thought, look at all these people that were in my wedding. I had no idea. And then I can't remember the date. I remember the year. It was 1974. But as far as the date, I don't have a clue. So that was crazy for years. We'd get drunk, and I'm not laughing. It's not like back then it wasn't domestic abuse. And I'm not laughing at domestic abuse. I'm laughing, thank God, because for years and years and years I couldn't laugh about this. Terry and I would get drunk and beat each other up. If he'd pass out before I did, bam, bam, bam. I mean, so we stayed married. I don't remember when we got divorced. I don't remember when. It was a crazy, crazy marriage. I wish I could give you some details, but I don't remember much of it. Don't know if we went on a honeymoon. Don't remember when I got divorced. So now just remember, there is hope for you. If there is hope for me. So then, divorced 7 years and still crazy alcoholic. Got married again in another blackout. I seem to like to get married, I think, when I was in a blackout. Well, anyway, so we were married. Seven's a very unlucky number for me. We were married for 7 years. I knew that because I had to know it when we were going to court. But so anywho, I was really, and I still can be ashamed, not so much of the, I should be ashamed of everything because I was crazy. So then got divorced. Don't remember when I got divorced, but it was 1987, and I ended up in rehab, which, I could have I could have stayed there forever. Gave me tranquilizers and to keep me from going into DTs or whatever. So I was in rehab for about 33, 34 days. Listen to this. The two of the I don't know, teachers, what they call them, instructors or whomever, one of them ended up, I don't know, in some 12-step program. The other one never had a license to begin with. So, but anyway, I had found this kind of group of four of us who were, crazy is as crazy does. So kind of got to know these four other people, four other drunks, hung around in rehab together and graduated from rehab. Speaking of graduated, I didn't go to my graduation. My parents were so mad at me. I was so glad I was out of school. I hated school because I have a hard time. I'll read something over and over and over again. You ask me 5 minutes later what I've read, I had no idea. So school was always a struggle for me just because I had no reading comprehension. So partying. And then in 1987 is when I go into rehab, and here I am married to a man that I married in a blackout. Not good. So also at this point in time, I started, being brought up very Catholic. I was never taught to read the Bible. I knew nothing about the Bible, nothing. So I met a bunch of this group of drunks that have helped me out so much. So what they, I picked up what they were telling me is, hey, there is a way to stop this. Drinking, drugging, there's no difference. It all ends. You all end up in the same place. Bam, hitting bottom, not knowing what to do. You've angered your family. They don't trust you. Oh, I promise I won't drink tonight. Well, you know how that is. So anyway, here I am. I buy a Bible. Where do you start? I don't like to read. This book is pretty thick. So I started reading, and I can't even remember. That's a whole nother issue. I started going to this church that was like crazy. But you attract what you are, or you are what you attract. So I was going to this crazy church, but the crazy church was a good thing because it did teach me, Carla, start at Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, the four Gospels, and then just read the New Testament for this time being, which I did. So I learned so much. I'm not going to be sweating it out in purgatory. There is a heaven, there is a hell, but I can change my destiny because I am headed to hell. I've been married twice. I got sober, cheated on my husband. I committed adultery. Cheated sounds way too nice. I committed adultery. That has lived with me forever and still does. So I met my husband, number 3, and that just great. So anyway, we met, and I don't mean that it's not about him, but we got married, and we've been married 27 years now. So, anywho, I was so embarrassed because I had done such crazy things. Like when I was in Cincinnati and I'd run into somebody I knew, I thought, oh no, here we go. So one time I was calling on a physician's office, and here is this lady I hadn't seen probably in 20 years. I don't know. I still have a terrible memory. Anyway, she said, Carla, how are you? I'm good. Oh no, I don't know where this conversation's going to go. She said, Carla, do you remember the time you were driving the wrong way on Coleraine Avenue? Really? No, I don't remember. And there's, I could add on and pile on this story, and maybe at some point I will, but it was ugly. Started reading the New Testament, got involved in a wonderful church that I really liked, and I learned about grace, God's grace, His mercy, His salvation, and how I can change my destiny. Because, once you've broken almost all 10, there is no way out. So I thought, because that's what I was taught. So I learned about Christ's blood, His forgiveness, and that I have been made a new creation. I also need people, which I don't like. I don't want to think I need anybody. That's still a pride problem. The 7 deadly sins, I can have any one of them depending the hour of the day. But I get up in the morning and I try to turn my life over to Him, my will, because I don't know how to do this thing called life. So, and I'm still learning every day. So this sober group of drunks that I meet with a couple times a week, they have taught me so much about getting sober and how and knowing God like I've never known Him before. So just a little bit of encouragement. Yes, I was crazy, and I can still be crazy, but not as crazy. At least when I'm crazy now, I don't black out. It's just like I usually have to, I'm so sorry. So this will continue. I just wanted to say thank you all for listening, and especially to drunks or drug addicts. You can email anytime, and I will do anything I possibly can to help you. Just know there is a way out, and you have a wonderful day.